Good morning. Today we will be discussing a story from the book of snapshots, that is of CBSE, The Address, written by Marga Minko. Okay, so let us know about the author a little. So Marga Menko, pseudonym of Sarah Menko. So her real name is Sarah Menko and she was writing under the name Marga Menko. Okay, so she was born in the year 31st March 1920 and was a Dutch journalist and writer. So a Dutch journalist. So here Dutch meaning someone who is belonging or relating to the Netherlands. Okay, so she was a famous journalist and a writer. In the early part of World War II, Minko lived in Breda, Amersfoort, and Amsterdam. So these are the small cities of Netherlands, and Amsterdam now is the capital of the country, Netherlands. Then, later in the war, Minko's parents, her brother, and her sister were all deported, but having escaped from this scenario, she spent the rest of her life in some unknown place in a situation of hiding from the war, and from her whole family she was the only survivor. So as you know, here the war which we are talking about is World War II. So let us have a little idea about what happened in World War II. So this World War II, especially known as Second World War, was a conflict that involved virtually every part of the world during these years, basically from 1939 to 45. Okay, there were a lot of powerful countries involved, as if Germany, Italy, Japan, France, and Great Britain, United States, the Soviet Union, and more or less China was also involved. So this was a long period in which the war took place. Okay, and more than 40 lakh to 50 lakh people were have met their end in this world war, and it is still now considered the bloodiest conflict. Okay, and it is also considered as the largest war in history. So here Marga Minko was a sufferer from this World War II, and she had suffered a lot because in this process of the most deadliest war she has lost her whole family. So existentialism imposes a special tightness on her work. Okay, so existentialism means writing on the ground or the social background to which the person feels connected to. Okay, so here as she has her whole life proven to survive from this world war and the deterioration which happened in her life, her family was apart from her and they were no more. So all that sadness, all that despair, she tried to show in her stories as well. Okay, the main characters in her stories are often survivors of the Holocaust, experience their lives as meaningless. Okay, so let us now discuss some important terms are there such as Holocaust, then existentialism. So what are these? Let us have a deep analysis on. Okay, so let us know now what are these different or difficult terms such as existentialism and Holocaust. So these are very important for us to understand before we go into the chapter. So basically this story, The Address, it is a story about human predicament that follows the pre-war and the post-war period. Okay, and how the narrator is impacted from all those situations. So in World War II, basically, the first dominant country was German, and it was led by Adolf Hitler, who was an important member of the Nazi party. Okay, and this people do not like the Jews, and here the narrator, okay, the daughter of Mrs. S that we will be discussing further, she is a Jew. Okay, and here what is happening? This movement of the Nazis, which was led by Adolf Hitler, okay, was very much dominant and they were not liking the Jewish people, and they started a movement of Holocaust. In this Holocaust, what happened? You see in the third point which I have given, that it was the World War II genocide of the European Jews. Okay, so the Jews which were present in the European side, they were cast to death during this World War II between 1941 and 1945. 1945, and across German occupied Europe, Nazi Germany and its collaborators systematically murdered some 6 million Jews, around two-thirds of Europe's Jewish population. So there was not any social cause, not any compulsory cause that the Jews should have been murdered. But Adolf Hitler had his own personal reasons. That is why, due to racism, he did not like the Jews and he tried to take their life during by this Holocaust process. Okay, the murders were carried out in programs and mass shootings by a policy of extermination through work in concentration camps. So they were the workers or the Jews who were captured over there in big camps. They were made to work more, work harder, so that due to the pressure of much work they would die of natural cause, or if they survive also, they were inserted in some gas chambers and harmful gases were led into the gas chambers or in the gas vans, which led to their death. Okay, so it was a very disastrous scenario during World War II, and Marga Minko had all this experiences in her personal life. So she tried to acknowledge all the situations, and based on that dramatic and sad experience of her life, she tried to emerge these situations in every part of a story which she wrote. Okay, and here also in this chapter, the address, I told you, it is the time of pre-war and post-war period. Here now let us discuss the setting of the story. So the setting of the story, as I have told you before, that it is a post World War II and the persecution of the Jews by Hitler's Nazi forces. The girl, who is the narrator herself, and her mother, Mrs. S, are Jews who lived in Germany. Okay, so here they were the Jews who were very much rich. Okay, the girl, the daughter of Mrs. S, had lost her house during the war, and her mother also is dead, and now she has decided, okay, to go to another lady or another character of the story, that is Mrs. Darling, to take her possessions back, because before the war the narrator's mother had sent her possessions through Mrs. Darling to her house, so that if the situation becomes normal she could get it back from her. Okay, and now as narrator's mother is no more, so the girl herself has decided to go to Mrs. Darling and take her possessions back. Okay, so this story is a touching account of a girl who goes in search of her mother's belongings after the Second World War in Holland. But even after finding what she always wanted to possess as a remembrance of her mother, she leaves everything behind, as it could not bring her mother back. So she decided to go back anyway, and then to take all the possessions or all the things which belonged to her. But after seeing all those things, she had a emotional setback. She could not connect with them, because all the things related to her mother made her realize that how painful it is to see those things every day and to think what happened to her mother. So it was very much dreadly seen to be accustomed of in her personal life. So she decided to keep the things away as it is with Mrs. Darling, and she would leave. Okay, so this is actually the setting of the story. Now let us discuss about the character. So now let us discuss the important characters of the story. So the first character is the daughter herself, who is the narrator, who returns to Holland to go to the address where her mother's precious belongings were kept. So here in the background of the story, before the war, as they got the idea that the war will be huge and disastrous, the narrator's mother decided to shift her precious belongings to the home of her acquaintance for a little bit of time, and after the war would be ending and everything would be changing into normal, then she would recollect it from that person. Okay, so now as after the war, only the daughter was the only member left in the family and everybody were dead. So she decided, after the scenario was normal, to go back to the acquaintance's house and to see her mother's possessions and in what conditions were they. Okay. Then the second character and the important is Mrs. S, who is considered to be the narrator's mother. She was a gullible person. So gullible means the person who is easily persuaded to believe something. So she was very much innocent and who could not see the manipulating and selfish nature of Mrs. Darling, her acquaintance. So the acquaintance's name is Mrs. Darling, who has kept the mother's possession, and she was quite greedy and selfish, and Mrs. S knew very little regarding her nature or her quality to take over all those things which she gave her out of love or care. Okay, she trusted her and gave her the things to keep for the time being. Okay. Then the another character is Mrs. Darling herself. She is the old acquaintance of Mrs. S. She had a cunning personality and she was also selfish and greedy, because after the war, when the daughter comes to see the possessions or collect the possessions, Mrs. Darling was very much reluctant from her side to give away those things which actually did not belong to her. So she was reluctant to recognize also Mrs. S's daughter, and she tried to not let her in the house. So she was not welcoming, and the daughter faced much problems to get her possessions or to see what her mother has left in Mrs. Darling's house. So these three are the main characters you should have the idea about. Then let us go to the story. Do you still know me? I asked. So here the starting line is from the narrator's side, the girl. So she knocked at the door and the door was opened and a lady was standing in front of her. And here she is asking the first question, do you still know me? Then the woman who is on the opposite side of the door, she looked at me searchingly. She had opened the door a chink. So here chink means a narrow opening. Okay. I came closer and stood on the step. So here as the girl who is the narrator, as she was not able to see properly as the door was not wide open, she saw from the narrow opening that a lady was standing, and to get the communication more clearer, she stood on the step and she came a little closer to have a conversation. Then the woman on the opposite side said, no, I don't know you. Okay, so this is a very rude welcome she got when the lady opposite to her, she said directly that she does not know her. Then to get more clearer, the narrator said that I am Mrs. S's daughter, and this information which she gave, that was more than enough from her side, because she knew that this lady who has opened the door is one of the old acquaintance of her mother. Okay, so on the opposite, what happened, you see what the lady did. She held her hand on the door as though she wanted to prevent it opening any further. So from her behavior or from her actions, it was quite obvious that she was trying to avoid the narrator to come in the house. That is why she has held her hand on the door and she was trying to stop the narrator to get into the house. Her face gave absolutely no sign of recognition. So she was very much clueless on her face and she was not welcoming at all. And that made the situation very much awkward for the narrator to be asking questions of recognizing her. She kept staring at me in silence. So she was clueless. She had no sign of recognition of the girl, and she also prevented her to get in the house, and she kept staring to the narrator in silence. So the situation got much reluctant and nobody was able to recognize. Okay. Then perhaps I was mistaken, I thought. So from the actions of the lady opposite her, the narrator herself got confused that she has mistaken to get the proper address. So perhaps it isn't her. So she came to a conclusion that the lady she was having a conversation with, she is not her mother's friend. So I had seen her only once, fleetingly. Fleetingly means for a short period of time. So she has just seen for once or twice, and that is why she does not have any idea proper idea that how that lady looked, or she does not have any confirmation, and that acquaintance or that meeting happened years ago. Okay, so it was most probable that I had rung the wrong bell. So she almost confirmed herself that okay, as this lady is not able to recognize me and she is having no clue of who I am, so it is my mistake that I have come to a wrong address. So she was ready to go. Okay, the woman let go of the door and stepped to the side. So the lady who was hiding at behind the door, she came little front, and when she came to the front a little, now the narrator saw something. What she saw, you see, she was wearing my mother's green knitted cardigan. So she was wearing her mother's cardigan, and she remembered very well that it was a green color, and it is knitted cardigan, and it had wooden buttons on the cardigan. So it was very much obvious that she has recognized that the cardigan belongs to her mother, and from there she got the proof that yes, she has reached the right address. But she was also shocked and confused why the opposite person is ignoring or very much reluctant to have any conversation with the narrator. Okay, and after the lady saw that the narrator is looking at the cardigan, she again half hid herself behind the door. But from that moment, the narrator got a full confirmation, and she thought to herself that 100% that lady is trying knowingly to ignore me. Okay, so she has also got into a conclusion that she has come to the right address. "Well, you knew my mother?" I asked. "Have you come back?" said the woman. I thought that no one had come back, only me. So here you see this is an awkward conversation which is happening between the two people, where the narrator asked, "Well, you knew my mother?" To that the lady says, "Have you come back?" said the woman. I thought that no one had come back. Now you see, first the lady was not ready to recognize the narrator, and now she got to recognize, and she is asking that have you come back? I thought that no one had come back. So this is a negative approach to someone, that she thought that no one would return from the consequences of the war. So here the narrator said, no, except me, nobody has come back. Everybody is dead in the war, and only I survived. A door opened and closed in the passage behind her. A musty smell emerged. So, someone is there inside the house and they have opened the door, and a musty smell emerged from that. Means a stale smell, which was not at all good. That stale smell came and it was very annoying. "Then I regret I cannot do anything for you." So the lady again, she is going on giving negative replies or unwelcoming replies, and she said that I regret or I am sorry that I cannot do anything for you and I cannot help you in any situation. Then the narrator said, "I have come here specially on the train. I wanted to talk to you for a moment." So she has come for a purpose. She knew that Mrs. Darling has all the possessions of her mother, and she wants to see them. She wants to look at them for once. So that is why she told that I want to talk to you regarding something, and it is very important because I have come from a very long way on the train. Then, as a courtesy, the lady must have helped her, but she told, "It is not convenient for me now. I cannot see you. Another time." She nodded and cautiously closed the door as though no one inside the house should be disturbed. So she was very reluctant, and first of all she started to avoid, and she said that I cannot see you now, I am very much busy. And she nodded and cautiously closed the door without giving a farewell also, and she closed the door as if somebody would be getting disturbed inside the house. So without any have further conversation, she just banged the door on the narrator's face. So I stood there where I was on the step. The curtain in front of the bay window moved. So she was shocked, and the narrator was still standing on the step when the door was closed, and she saw at the side on the window somebody was staring from inside. Someone stared at me and would then have asked me what I wanted. "Oh, nothing," the woman would have said. It was nothing. I looked at the nameplate again. "Darling," it said, in black. letters on white enamel, and on the jamb a bit higher the number 46. So she was thinking, or she was assuming that if the person behind the window would might have asked that who was the person and what she had come for, so obviously the lady who just shut the door, she might have said, oh, nothing, as she was not bothered about. So she was assuming what might be the conversation inside the house going on regarding her. So without approaching more, she just looked at the nameplate again. Darling, it was written. So it was Mrs. Darling's house, and on the nameplate, her name is written in black letters, and on the jamb a bit higher, the number 46. So on a plank like thing, the house number 46 was written, and now she got confirmed that it is the right address because her mother gave it to her, and she knew that the acquaintance or the lady who opened the door is one of her mother's acquaintance, and she is knowingly avoiding her. So now let us stop here. Now in the next class we shall discuss what was the reason that Mrs. Darling was avoiding the narrator and what causes the situation to arise, and we shall discuss in the next class. Thank you. This is the end of part 1.